Right, welcome back to the show. Thank you so much for staying with us. You're watching Morning Cafe once again. If you're just joining us, today being the 18th day of March, we had already hinted earlier that it's Global Recycling Day. And I asked a question, have you ever heard of this day? But if you haven't, it's understandable. This is quite a new, celebration. It began in 2018, Global Recycling Day. And that is what we're talking about this morning. We're engaging producers to understand the status of recycling in Kenya. How are we doing? What are we doing right? What do we need to do to be able to achieve a sustainable waste management system in this country? The theme this year, don't think waste, think opportunity. And we'll be understanding just how that resonates with Kenya practically. I have with me Stephen Muli, and he's the chairperson of KEPRO board. KEPRO is the Kenya Extended Producer Responsibility Organization, and he'll be helping us make sense of where we are and, of course, once again, where we are falling short. So if you do have any questions with regards to recycling in the country, we do encourage you to be part of this conversation on our socials, TV47 Kenya on Facebook and on YouTube, on X at TV47 Digital. You can tag me at _Dida, and our WhatsApp line is also very, very active, 0793267279. We'll be happy to hear from you. Karibu sana. Sir Stephen.
Thank you, Anne.
We're happy to have you.
It's a pleasure.
So we want to learn everything about recycling this morning, but this is something that is quite new, like I said. And I don't know if as Kenyans we are quite hands-on on celebrating Global Recycling Day. You can start us off with that.
Well, thanks for being on this show. And when you talk about recycling, I know if you go back, way back, you know, when we were growing up, I remember when you go to the village, you used to have, you know, the small cans, which, you know, they were holding cooking fat. And probably your grandma now is using them for something else. And it felt very natural. And you can say recycling started way back at that time. However, we did not recognize it as recycling. So what has happened is that, you know, fast forward, plastics came in, many other things came in, and potentially the generation has been more of use and dispose. That thought of bringing it back into the system has not really, you know, gone to become one of our fundamentals. So if I look at Kenya, currently we are doing our waste, what we say we are generating waste, is 22,000 to 24,000 tons in a day as a country. Yeah. If you look at this, if I come back to Nairobi, we're looking at, you know, anything from 2,200 to close to 3,000. 60% of that is organic, wet waste. And what has happened now is that most of this waste gets mixed up with all the other packaging waste. And all this now finds its way to the dump sites. One, no one does segregation. Most of the households. Today, if you were to ask people, do you segregate? They will then ask, okay, this mouthful word, what is segregation?
Yes.
So that gives a huge challenge. So as a country, we can say we've just started the baby steps. Maybe as we continue discussing, we'll unpack what you've heard of the EPR.
Absolutely.
Yeah, regulations coming in, you know, people are wondering, okay, what are we talking about? It sounds a mouthful.
It does. But even as you talk about that as a country, we are making steps towards recycling.
Yes,
but I want to center a question, and I asked this as we were starting, that Global Recycling Day, this is a globally recognized day.
Yeah.
Are we doing much just to be hands-on on this particular day that, of course, recognizes the need to recycle? There's a global theme, don't think waste, think opportunity. That, you know, when you talk about recycling, that is something that we've been doing even in the older days. But are we recognizing as a nation, as a government, that there is a day, Global Recycling Day, that needs attention and also needs, you know, awareness around this day?
Well, just to start, I mean, first of all, having a show to talk about recycling is a huge step, number one, which means as a country, we've seen something out of it. We've also gone into bringing the regulations. Bringing in the regulations is a big tick because what you're saying as a country, we've seen the need. And of course, creating of what we are now. I mean, being the head at KEPRO, which is a producer responsibility organization means the producers have seen a requirement in terms of what can we do with recycling. And EPR, that is the extended producer responsibility, what it's doing, it's a structure, it's a very beautiful framework, if I would put it, and it's been used across the world. I mean, there are countries you go to Denmark, you know, you can watch, Google, check Denmark, you're in Japan, you hardly see anything disposed on the ground. Why? Because of the EPR. So EPR framework, what it does, it gives everybody a role. That is, if you're a producer or a brand owner, you have a specific role in ensuring whatever you're bringing to the environment or to the market has a life cycle. That means that it can be collected and recycled. We're also looking at consumers, yeah, ourselves, you, me, yeah. Every day, I think if you look at it in Kenya, a normal person will generate half a kg of waste. Where does it go? How do I dispose it? What are my choices? Do I flip it through the window, hoping somebody else will pick it, or the environment will somehow take care of it? We also have created a framework which touches on what the government needs to play. What are the counties doing? Yeah. Are we moving away from dump sites? What you can say is that as a country now with that regulation, we are moving away from what we are calling dump sites, and we are calling it an MRF, Material Resource Facility. What it means is that it starts from the home where I'm able to segregate the waste. If plastic is kept with plastic together, glass together, wet waste together, that becomes an input for somebody's production cycle. So this becomes very powerful in terms of enhancing recycling.
All right, I want us to go step by step.
Yep.
Because now it looks like we're jumping ship. We are going quite faster, but I want our viewers to understand what you're talking about and your role as KPRO, and of course this issue of recycling. So I want you to introduce this properly to KPRO. The Kenya Extended Producer Responsibility Organization. You are a PRO, and just your role. Who joins KPRO? These are some of the things that we want to quite understand about KPRO, even before we get into EPR and how it funds, of course, the Act, that the National Sustainable Waste Management Act. But just introduce us to KPRO and your role in this.
All right. Maybe just to look at the ecosystem within the EPR space. Because we cannot exist without the EPR process. Because the Extended Producer Responsibility Framework, once it comes into play, it creates what we call now a PRO. And a PRO is a Producer Responsibility Organization. Here we have all the members of our PRO are all brand owners, producers, manufacturers, importers. Anyone who's bringing a product to put it in the market, that will be our member. And also we have good people who are, I will call them members who have seen we are doing a good initiative, we can come in and support. It could be capacity building, knowledge transfer. So we have key partners who come in to play in to support that process. So all these members sit in because they're putting a product into the market, into the environment. How will that product be collected after I consume it? After the consumer uses it, what happens to its packaging or to its waste afterlife? So we come together and say, you know, I cannot do it all alone. If you say that, you know, I'm company X and I'm tasked to collect all my waste across the country, it is a huge task. So what you're saying is that can we come together, all these producers, all these manufacturers, all these importers, brand owners, and sit down and put our funds in one kitty and say this is the kitty that is going to incentivize the whole process of collecting our waste from the environment. So what it does now, it will engage recyclers on that value chain. Recyclers is somebody now who's gonna, you know, recycle your waste, basically transform it into another material that has economic benefit for the environment. We have what we refer to as the waste collectors, waste pickers, but now we have transformed them. We are calling them waste entrepreneurs. They are the people who will come to your house and say, you know what, we are coming to collect your waste. What waste have you generated? We are also sitting down with them, gluing them together with the recycler, saying, my waste entrepreneur, there is a recycler here for the plastic. You are able to send the plastic to this recycler. And what happens now with the kitty we have, what we call now the fees that members are paying, we incentivize this process. We put rebates. We say, Mr. Recycler, if you're able to recycle a number of tons of this waste, then we will give you a rebate of so much. So what happens is that we are creating value to the waste you are generating. Yeah, my material, which I've, as a manufacturer, that I've put in the market, after you use it, I'm creating a value on it. So what happens is that it incentivizes this whole process. So the collector sees the value, the recycler sees the value. What we also end up doing is that we also discuss with the manufacturer who are sitting within our PRO in terms of when you're manufacturing your packaging material, can you ensure that 50% is recycled content? So what you've done now is that me as a manufacturer, my packaging, I'm using 50% of the packaging I sent it out. So what I'm doing is that, for one, I'm reducing my pressure on the virgin material, which means the resources which we are pulling are less. And what it means is that I'm also pulling out what could have been generated in the environment as waste, and I'm putting it back into the ecosystem. So what it means at the end of the day is that you don't see this waste, you know, being disposed, because it has a value. And at the same time, you are creating jobs, what we call green jobs. Yeah. Waste entrepreneurs, I can tell you now, as a KEPRO, when we started, most of them were informal. And as you know, KEPRO being a formal organization, you must engage with somebody formally. Yeah, means you must have a KRA PIN, you have to, you know, do. So how do you transition these waste pickers into entrepreneurs? So that has been a big thing that KEPRO has been doing. What are these things they need to do? So we've managed to transition. Almost 70% now are trading like entrepreneurs, and they're making a living out of it. Yeah.
How is compliance like? You talked about some of the fees that, of course, these recyclers have to pay to join the KEPRO team. But how is compliance like?
Yeah. Maybe just to correct you, the recyclers don't pay us any fee. We end up paying them, incentivizing them, you know, giving them a rebate for recycling, so that then they can invest to ensure that the waste they're collecting, they're able to convert it to a material that is of economical benefit. So who pays the fees is the manufacturer.
All right.
You as the brand owner, what you're saying is that you're playing a role. Today, if I'm producing, let's say, a packet of milk, I will have to, and I'm a member of KEPRO, we look at this packet of milk, what is its journey along the value chain of waste. It will go to the consumer, consumer will use it. After you use it, how does the consumer dispose it? Where does he dispose it? Who collects it? After it's collected, where does it go? What does the recycler do with it? Can he use it, generate what we're calling now pellets, plastic pellets, which are like, you know, input for another manufacturing process. You know, you look at the plastic bins that you have, which are generated, you know, from, you know, the whole cycle. So what happens now is that the fee is now, we watch that process, how it's going, that value chain. And then we'll come and tell you as a producer of milk, for us to get this paper out of the system, it will cost, let's say, abrupt fee, 5 shillings per kg. Yeah. So what it means is that you, as the owner of that brand, you're gonna say, this month I put in 50 or 50,000 packets of milk. So 50,000 packets equivalent to, I don't know, 2,000 or 200 kgs of plastic. Of course, then we charge the fee per kg. So you pay KEPRO. So what KEPRO will do is that KEPRO will ensure that that pack does not find its way to the environment. So what it means is that me as a producer, I'm investing on somebody who should be able to ensure that my waste from my material does not find its way to the environment. And of course, once you do that, then is a whole ecosystem that we are generating. So we stick together now, all these players, to ensure the waste entrepreneur has ensured he has collected. We are also carrying a lot of educational tours and sessions with consumers, which we are saying we want to try and change your behavior. If I use something, if I use that packet of milk, what do I do with the packet? And you'll hear of the regulation. I know NEMA talked about, you know, you will charge homes which don't comply a certain fee. So that's where it's coming from. Because what they're saying is that what we want you is change your behavior. We do not want to penalize you, but we would like you to change your behavior.
All right. So this is when our EPR comes in, because before EPR, I buy, I use it, I throw away, then government is in charge of it, of that taka.
Yeah.
But then now with EPR and of course you as KPRO coming in, I buy, I use it, I throw it away, and then you as producers now are in charge of that waste.
Actually, we don't want you to throw it away.
But
when you say throw it away, and that is the bit. That is the bit we want to move people from. Saying I will throw it away, because throw means, you know, it's anywhere.
Dispose it anywhere.
Yeah. So what you're saying is that dispose it on a bin. No, the regulator has come in to say we have given you 3 bins. Yeah. Put your wet waste, put your, you know, your plastic, and, you know, your other dry waste, so that when the collector comes, is able to utilize this waste. Yeah. Basically, what you're doing is that prepare him in a good way. Do not mix. Do not like dispose it in a manner that it cannot be used. Yeah. And that is a bit which you're trying to say is that dispose it, but we want to recycle it. But again, we always start from the word go. What waste do you want to generate? Please minimize the waste if you can, because the moment you're generating it, already there is a loss. So minimize it. So what cannot be then minimized then and find its way out is that as the PRO, we will create all the actors in place to divert that waste from going into the environment. Yeah.
But when you talk about 3 bins that are given, of course, for wet, hazardous, recyclable, I don't have 3 bins in my house. I don't have papers that are coded, right? Color coded. Say green is for this particular waste, black is for this particular waste, and maybe, for example, red is for this particular waste. Usually, the type of paper that I get is the black one that, of course, these people that come to collect takataka from my place bring.
Yeah.
So 3 bins. Who is failing who?
Yeah. So here.
Do you get 3 bins?
Well, on my end, I've tried to do it from a personal initiative. Trying to make sure that I have dry waste. I think for me, the most important thing, just to make it very simple to the lay person, is that have your dry waste separated from the wet waste. Because then that is the biggest game changer. If you can just start that, even if maybe you're still receiving your black bags, all of them, I'm sure you're receiving like 5, 10. Make sure one is for wet and one is for dry, and one you can put your hazardous waste. I think with that, it's already a huge start, because even when the people who are collecting, I'm sure, I don't know whether you've took a stand to look at the people collecting the waste, you'll find they have a small bag here where they're putting maybe all the dry waste, the plastics.
Yes.
They're trying to segregate, to separate.
By themselves.
By themselves. Because what it tells you, it has value. It's not going to a landfill. These ones, they're going to have to sell them, and they get money out of it. So the question is that, why don't you prepare them, give them a comfort? And from a PRO perspective, I know we are not there. It is a vision we are having, and it's a vision we want to drive, where we are saying even we will come a point whereby the people coming to collect the waste from your end, you'll have like color-coded trucks, where we are saying the red truck collects only plastics, and it will only collect from houses which are segregated. And the collection can be incentivized. We'll make it free. So that you're incentivized. If you segregate it to your plastic, the red truck comes Tuesdays and Thursdays, it will collect that plastic. So we'll make sure that what has been collected there is going for recycling. Maybe on another day, Monday and Friday, is wet waste. Put it in a green bag. So we are sure that that is generally wet waste. So it's already ensuring that the mixing is not there. Segregation is being enforced in a should I say, in a nice way, in a way that I'm telling you, if you segregate it, I'll collect it for free, because then I will make value out of it. And that is the space we are transitioning to. Of course, lots of capacity building, lots of engagement and restructuring in terms of how the waste players are operating. So if you look at it, we are also upgrading our waste collectors, to make sure also they are also in that space where we are saying segregation is a must, is the next big thing. So it's a journey, and we are not yet there, but it's a positive journey we believe we will get.
All right. Let's get some feedback, Stephen, at this point, because we want to understand or to see if Kenyans really understand, recycling and why it's quite important. James is watching from Nairobi and he says, honestly, I try to separate my waste, but mwisho, everything ends up in one truck. We need better systems. Akinyi is watching from Kisumu. Recycling is a good idea, but most people here don't even know where to take plastics or bottles. We have Brian from Nakuru. I think recycling can create jobs for youth if Serikali takes it seriously. Faith from Kiambu says, I've started reusing containers at home, small steps, but I believe it helps. We have some more. Kevin from Eldoret says, let's be honest, recycling in Kenya is still very hard. There's no proper structure. We have Wanjiru from Nyeri. She says, our parents used to recycle everything without calling it recycling. We just need to go back to that culture. Otieno from Mombasa says, plastic is too much nowadays. Even if you want to avoid it, it's everywhere. These are just some of the feedback that you're getting this morning. But somebody has said there that there's no proper structure when it comes to recycling. Do you agree that, of course, policies are there? Yeah. EPR is there. Of course, we have that act, the National Sustainable Waste Management Act. But when she raises a concern about there not being a proper structure for there to be a seamless recycling, recycling mandate or whatever system, then where is the problem exactly? Is it the structures, or are we not just implementing the policies that we have?
For me, I will look at it as a two-pronged approach issue. If you look at it, number one, the policy is very new. Kenya EPR regulation was put in 2024, November. That's when it came out, the EPR regulation, sitting back on the Sustainable Waste Management Act, which was put in place around about 2022.
Yes.
So these are very new structures coming in from a policy point of view. Then from 2024, there have been a lot of courts, in and outs discussing on the EPR regulations. Quite a number of conservatory orders were given. It's only this year, January, when it was cleared to go live from a legal perspective. That is the EPR regulations. However, we had people who had started. When you talk about KEPRO, we've been in existence more than 5 years. So we had already started this process with the people who I would call early adopters. Yeah, it was really voluntary. If you feel you owe something to the environment, you can do something with it. We started it. So it's a journey. Yeah. So the policy now is in place. There is regulation. The regulator is trying to enforce. However, due to the newness of this, because it touches a lot about, you hear somebody saying we need to go back to our old culture.
Yes.
To bring back that thought of, I've used a bottle of water, how am I going to dispose it? That thought now has to come. And remember, culture change, it's not a button that comes on. It will take a while. That one we accept, it will take a while. Yeah. And of course, that is one bit of the culture and the policy, very new. The structures are not fully set. Why? People still are yet to understand what their role is. Yeah. Number one, if you look at our, the government structure, if you look at the county mechanisms for handling waste, we are still living in the olden days of landfill sites. I collect, I go and dump somewhere, hoping something will happen to that waste. Nothing will happen. That waste will just get carried. You saw the floods recently. All those papers go block the drainage. Then we are now wanting to blame somebody else and say, hey, somebody should have taken. Now, who is this somebody? So ideally now the structures are being put in place to create that understanding. And that's why KEPRO comes in. We want to create that visibility of the county. If it's a county government, what is your role? How can we transition from land, landfill site, dump sites into what we are calling MRFs? What is required? What type of investment is required? This might not happen overnight. It will take a period of time. Consumers also, what happens to you if you use a product? How do you dispose it? What is the channel between disposal and getting to this material resource facility? who are these collectors? How can we also sensitize them how you collect your waste? Somebody said, you know, I try to separate, but everything ends in one truck.
Yes.
Potentially you see it ending in one truck, but those guys are not going to mix that waste. They're very clever now, and that's what I'm saying, they're entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
They've realized this has value. So what I will enforce and say is that continue, start with your step. Yeah, don't say, you know, that one is not moving, so I won't do mine. No, no, no. The thing is that it starts with you. Let me segregate. The moment you segregate, even the person collecting will see, they've been segregated. It's telling him something. And him, of course, the person collecting, we are already pushing and having the discussion. Yeah, from a KEPRO perspective, I know we've contracted recyclers across the 47 counties. So these people are becoming ambassadors now. They're also saying, hey, have you segregated your waste? Because I will want it segregated, then I can be able to recycle it. So I can say, let's not feel the task ahead is enormous, but it has to start with some baby steps. And that is where we are at the moment. So the more we are, the better.
All right.
Yep.
Let's get one more question with regard to the conversation that you're having, Global Recycling Day. All right, Dennis from Rongai is saying, yogurt container, that one is permanent in the house, recycling Kenyan style. All right, na nimeona ameweka question mark. Sharon from Machaka says, young people are trying thrift fashion, eco business, but they need support. So that is also recycling, right? That ile nguo ambayo hainitoshi, then I can as well just take it back to the market or donate it somewhere. That is recycling in itself, right?
Yes, yes, it's actually reuse. Remember, when you're recycling, recycling is where you're saying you will take it to a manufacturer, but there's also reuse. You can see somebody has mentioned about the yogurt cup, recycling in Kenyan style. What means is that he's reusing it. After I use it, I can put it as a cup. I can use it for drinking water. I can put my toothbrush on it. It gets other uses. So which means it will find its way in the environment.
So that is not recycling. That is
reusing. Yeah, which is also a powerful. Remember, when you talk of recycling, we talk about 3 R's. Reduce, reuse, recycle. Yeah. So all that is building together to what we call a circular economy, creating circularity.
Reduce, reuse, recycle.
Recycle.
All right, that is quite interesting. You were mentioning something about a segregation of waste.
Yes.
You have mentioned it. The number of times you have responded, segregation has come up a lot.
Yeah.
But this is also something that was quite prominent in the National Sustainable Waste Management Act, that segregation of waste at source was quite mandatory in that act. That organic, recyclable, hazardous waste, then you are mandated to just segregate it at home, put it in one, in a blue, in red, in black. And then there were to be fines, about 22,000 Kenyan shillings at household level that I have to pay if I do not segregate my own waste. Nigerians would ask, how far now? How far now? Because if at all the National Sustainable Waste Management Act had imposed a fine, imagine 22,000, that's something that will get me scared if I have to pay that amount of money. Then what is happening? How far?
Really, how far? I think for me, I would like to look at it in a different way. I know people, when they see the fine, that is where they rush to.
Yes.
That is the quick
That
eye.
is the catch.
That is the catch. So I think I will look at it at more of what is the policy trying to drive. Yeah, it's really, the idea is not punitive. We are not really, we're not in a money-making scheme where we want to charge the household. What we are trying to send the message is that the power of you doing the segregation gives us a huge value, more than what you are putting there as a fine. Yeah, when you say it's 22,000, I can tell you that's a drop in the ocean compared to if you're able to segregate. So for me, I would like people to look at it, what is the value beyond the fine? Put the fine aside. What do I gain more? What do I put back to the ecosystem if I segregate at a household level? I can tell you it's huge. if you look around the world, we've had the chance to see what others are doing. You know, if you look at places like Denmark and all of you, there people are so happy to recycle. Actually, if somebody consumes something in the car, they say, wait, which is the next nearest recycling bin I can find to put it in? It's a joy recycling, because what it means is that the impact of the environment, when you walk around, the environment, the air you breathe, the spaces you see, you don't see that thing. You don't see the landfill, you don't see the garbage. You know, it moves away from being garbage and everything. It becomes another value-adding scheme. And that is the kind of joy we want to bring to the Kenyan people, whereby you're saying, you know, I'm really passionate about recycling at a household level, because that is where it starts. Because the moment that passion is driven from there, I think we'll achieve more than what we've even thought. Yeah.
But even when you talk about it, Stephen, you know, fines, if I hear 22,000 Kenyan, you want us to think past that fine, right?
Yeah.
But now that is the catch. You know, if I see that I'll be fined 22,000 Kenyan shillings, then definitely I would want to segregate my own waste.
Yeah.
Then what if that communication is also made quite prominent, that if you do not segregate your waste, you're going to be fined 22,000 Kenyan shillings. I think that is what will hold households accountable. What do you think? It
will be a wake-up call. I know most of the people, if they don't see, the question is, so what? If I don't do it, so what? I think that is the so what. If I don't recycle,
you are fined.
Segregation, there is a fine of 22,000. Which one do you want to give away? So I think that is also a good message going through, because then it shows the attachment we are putting on the recycling bit. Yeah. However much we wouldn't want to go the stick, because you know there's a stick and carrot in every process you go to, and unless people understand that, you know, there is a consequence. You know, it's more, I call it more of a consequence matrix. Yeah, there is the good and the bad. So the ones who join the bandwagon, happy, there's this benefit. The ones who opt otherwise, then there's also this bit of the fine. So it's a package. So it gives you that option. Yeah, if you don't, but I think once you hear of the fine, I think for me it's good for people to know there is a fine.
Yes.
There is a fine for not segregating at your house, which is 22,000. Yeah.
I think that will hold me accountable. But you talked about Nairobi alone. We produce 2,500 to 3,000 tons daily. In the country, about 22,000 to 24,000 of waste daily. But we're looking at Nairobi, that over 50,000 of Nairobi residents lack formal waste services. Right? So what happens to this bigger percentage who are still left behind? If you're looking at 50%, we have 100. 100 is the percentage maximum. But 50, they're still behind. Then, of course, there's a problem there. What needs to be done?
I think for me, sitting from a PRO perspective, is that the engagements are going on, especially with what you're saying, the structures being put in place, having partnership with counties, because remember also the county has a waste management space, and they're tasked in terms of ensuring, you know, waste is collected at certain points, let me put it that way. So the issue now is mapping out all these points, and creating, again, what I've mentioned, the MRFs. Those facilities, the material resource facilities, and getting them closer to where the wastes are generated, so that then it makes it easy to contain the movement of the waste. So that for me is one key thing, in terms of enhancing the infrastructure. The infrastructure, we are still very far. And that's why we are finding that 50%, the waste definitely will go to landfill. And of course, converting these landfills now into MRFs. So that is the journey ahead we are looking at. Some counties have started, they're embracing it. There are quite a number of counties that we've engaged, that we are having a negotiation going ahead, discussing from a PRO and the county, how forward can we take these discussions, how can we support. Capacity building is very important, because all those waste actors must know what is their role. So it's still a journey, big challenge, as you're saying, facilities, of course, financing the infrastructure, of course, yeah, definitely is a cost that has to come in. And then, of course, ensuring now there is a use of that waste, yeah, the recyclers. We are also uplifting the recyclers because the uptake has to be there. Yeah, yeah.
Perhaps, do you think the challenge would be that the waste collection in I don't know if other counties have also been commercialized, but in Nairobi, for instance, it has been commercialized. I pay 300 Kenyan shillings for waste. But I'm looking at other areas, like for example, Kibra, Madere, the slums, not Kawangware, for instance. People who are not able to pay this 300 Kenyan shillings, right? Where do the waste go? Do they still have people coming to collect these wastes at their doorsteps? Or where do their wastes go exactly? If we are still below the poverty level. 300 Kenyan shillings is a lot for somebody living in a slum. Then if they're not able to pay 300 Kenyan shillings for their waste to be collected, then where are their waste going?
So our approach, I think, from our end is that we've gone in to create now the CBOs. And these CBOs are basically, and these are where we are saying most of the green jobs are coming through. These are individuals who are waste entrepreneurs. We've seen that opportunity that, you know, if it is in Kawangware, it's in Kayole, there is no structured way of collecting waste. So we have this team of the waste entrepreneurs who will go with their handcarts, and agree with all the various homes where they can collect their waste. They will come collecting the waste from these homes daily. And what they do is that they're able, if it is plastics, they're able to put the plastics together, they're able to put, you know, the paper waste and all of you. So from a KEPRO perspective, our recyclers will be mandated to collect the waste collected by these CBOs and pay them a certain fee. So ideally now we've created an ecosystem there, which means is that there is we're trying to formalize that waste collection through these CBOs. So we train these CBOs. We have something which we launched last year called Waste Toolkit, which tells you how to become a waste entrepreneur. Hands-on, practical tool. What are the things you need to do? What are the things you get? What are the things you need to have as an individual? Coming in as groups, what can you do as groups? So we have quite a number of groups from a KEPRO perspective that we've trained, we've put on the ground. So these are the people who are now pulling waste from these areas, which we are saying there is no structured way and there's a cost. Remember, when they're collecting, they're not charging that waste to the individuals there. So that elevates that element of saying, you know, I cannot afford that waste collection. So those are the green jobs that we are powerfully driving, because they've come together, and I can tell you now they're growing. They even have an association, and they're being brought into the regulation. They're being recognized in the regulation, and they are going to do a big game change with regards to the waste ecosystem. And that is what actually I can say we are really proud to say we are driving, because we have formalized them, and now they're pulling out this waste from these areas which you are saying are not covered. So that's what I can say in terms of when you talk about that 50%, how we are attacking it.
And when you talk about Nairobi alone, producing that amount, 3,000, is it the highest in the country? When you're looking at the numbers that are produced
within the counties, of course, Nairobi has the highest, because of course Nairobi also has the highest population sitting here, of course, and of course the consumers, the main of the consumers are here. I mean, when you go to still your countryside, the consumption is very minimal. And of course, they will also want to reuse whatever they're generating. If it is a plastic can, definitely they might use it for putting some flowers or putting their green garden. It will get a use. You will find hardly anything will go out completely as waste. For their wet waste, they will definitely have a place where they're composting already, because they have the space. Create your manure, and you can use it in your garden where you're growing your skuma wikis and all of you, which is very good, you know, organic waste. So if you look at outside the urbanized, counties, you'll find the waste generation is quite minimal. You can't compare with what is generated in Nairobi.
In Nairobi, but again, if you walk in Nairobi CBD, for instance, you barely see beans. And it gets me thinking. Of course, if I'm chewing, say, sugarcane, nimenunua lollipop pale and I've ripped off that kakaratasi, the one that covers it, and then there are no bins in Nairobi CBD, of course, a lot of people will be walking around and would throw these takatakas in the riverbanks, on drainages, on, sewers. Then is that the problem that Nairobi is facing? I don't know if you see bins. I barely see bins in Nairobi CBD.
I think in terms of, if you talk of bins, even from a Kepro perspective, we've tried to put in bins, sit in with the county and locate bins within various streets to see whether the collection can be enhanced. I know the challenge has been, if you put a good looking bin, then...
Are the bins really there?
They disappear. that has been the challenge. Yeah. I think I want to challenge ourselves. When you eat something, see how long you will walk before you find a place you can dispose responsibly. Yeah, and that is a challenge I give most of the consumers or people I meet. I want to ask you, please don't throw it don't litter it out. Walk and just let us know what is the distance you've walked before you find a bin. Yeah, or if not, again, I always say, there are shops and every entity will have a waste collection point. Walk into that shop
and throw it there.
Ask for the bin and you just put it in. I don't think anybody will charge you. And I think that's what I'm saying, even from our own selves. If really I'm driven to say I want to recycle, I can tell you won't miss a point where I can place that waste. Today, if I'm walking in Nairobi and I have waste on my pocket, I can tell you if I walk into a shop, I will find a place. And I won't walk even more than 200 meters. I will get a place.
But you do agree that is what is ailing Nairobi, because not everybody would think about, going to a shop.
Yeah.
Most of the time would think about, if I go to this shop, the owner is going to tell me, beba takataka yako okota tena uende nayo, where you're coming from.
Yeah.
But again, you say that we need to see how long we can walk with that takataka. And I was laughing because I saw a post on Twitter yesterday before this conversation. I was preparing for this conversation. And somebody had chewed this sugarcane that I've used that as an example.
Yeah.
And she was saying from Ngong Road, she walked with that, the waste, all the way back to her house because she could not locate a bin in Nairobi. So... When you say
it's still a challenge. Bins, collection points, still a challenge. As I've mentioned to you, infrastructure, I can't say we are there. Yeah, but however, giving us marks is that we've started. I mean, with the PROs that are there and everybody who's there, I think if you go to like your big malls, I know when she says Ngong Road, I know there are malls along the way. Yeah, those malls will have a proper, segregated waste, recycling collection points. I don't think they will ask you, beba takataka yako. It's free for everyone to drop it in. So I think for me is again that information. Do people know what is changing? Where are the big areas where we are starting, if it is in collection points? Which are these collection points? Because as a PRO, at Kepro, we've also been mandated by the regulation to show which are these collection points that we are mapping out. Yeah. So if you go to the website and check and ask, where are these collection points, you'll get a directive. And that is what happens when the EPR scheme is mature. Countries which have reached that maturity, which I usually like to look at, which are close to us, probably small countries like La Reunion. If you go in there and, Google and ask recycling points, a place where I can drop, even if it's my chair or electronic waste or plastic, it will locate for you. Nearest point where you can go drop it, it will locate you. And that for me is the vision we are looking at. Yeah.
For Kenya.
For Kenya, which is a reality.
All right, let's get some more feedback, what people are saying online.
Yeah.
Peter from Thika says counties should provide bins and partner with companies. Right now, Wananchi are on their own. That is Peter. We have Mercy from Kakamega. Teach children in schools about recycling early. That's how we build a responsible generation. That feedback on counties, you are spread across the 47 counties.
Yeah.
And it's only good to give credit where credit is due. which are some of these counties that you've seen are doing well when it comes to recycling and waste management?
Yeah, if I look at it, there are counties like, I will start with like Machakos. I think they've tried to start that process. Lots of engagement. I know the previous governor who was there had talked about, you know, you should not litter, you should not do. So there is a bit of traction in terms of, you know, getting the, you know, the habit of trying to look for a bin and, you know, recycle. I think that's the main one. The others are still at very...
Even Kisumu. I was hoping you'd say Kisumu.
Kisumu, yeah. Yeah, Kisumu we've started. A lot I can say is that we also have a lot of CBOs there. If you talk about Kisumu, engaged it. Yeah, and we have a lot of partners there who are also supporting to get it there. I mean, sorry, I didn't mention Kisumu. Kisumu is also there, is among our hit lists, where we can say is a big take in terms of, you know, the recycling bit. Yeah. I know somebody has, from that comment, talking about engaging schools. We've engaged quite a number of schools. I can tell you, since we started this journey, we've engaged more than 300 schools, of which we've donated bins and gone in to educate the kids about the waste segregation. So there are bins there, kids are able to segregate and see, you know, plastic, paper, wet waste, at least to start that journey at that early stage. So for us, we know that is where the journey will begin, because the moment the kids pick it up, then they grow with that, you know, culture in mind to drive it. So there's where we are. I think Kisumu doing a good job. Machakos as well. Nairobi, we're getting some traction in some areas, because again, due to the size and, you know, the various different dynamics, huge challenge because a big population is sitting here. So that's how the journey looks like.
Now, the journey from linear economy to circular economy, to what percentage are we driving towards that goal? Linear to circular economy.
Wow. If I would score it, I would say we are probably not even more than a 10%.
Oh,
yeah.
We're doing badly.
We are still doing badly. Yeah. I mean, when you look at it, when you still have landfill sites next to a river, I mean, you can see people talking of no bins where to put in. Segregation still at the homestead, still at the lower levels, people are still struggling to put the plastic, paper, wet waste. We still far. Yeah. I wouldn't put it more than a 10%. Yeah. But again, I'm very positive in terms of the energy and the drive that we've seen. And the adoption. I think the adoption has been great in terms of where people are seeing we need to move. I mean, I like the comments that people have also seen that opportunity. And that's why, I mean, this day we are saying, don't see waste, see an opportunity.
Right.
Recycling is what I would say is the next big thing, in the economy. Yeah, this is where we are saying, you know, where you can be able to come in, innovate, and make a name out of yourself. You know, we had things like Facebook started in somewhere in the university and exploded. And that's how I'm seeing recycling in Kenya. Yeah, we've started it small, but I'm sure it's going to explode. Yeah, and the thing is that, do you want to be part of this journey? Because there are opportunities, basically from an economic point of view, a very massive impact on the environment. And basically, it's a win-win scenario, the way I'm looking at it from an EPR framework. It's a win-win. We won't say that, you know, I'm trying to save the world, I'm spending money. No. As brand owners, as manufacturers, we are saying we can now feel our impact in managing the environment with our products going in. We can say we are sustainable. We are looking for a sustainable future. And that's the way we can look at it, looking at it with the lens of an EPR, framework.
I love that you've answered my question, because that is the theme that you're looking at this year. Don't think waste, think opportunity. And I was going to ask just how is recycling an economic opportunity for Kenyans? You've brought it out quite well, innovation, make a name for yourself. But I'm wondering how you are celebrating Global Recycling Day as KEPRO.
Yeah, as KEPRO, I think key has been engaging our waste entrepreneurs. Yeah, so really still re-emphasizing the key role that they are playing. So we've had various calls with our members just to hype the day, find out what are the challenges with the waste they're generating. Again, the other bit is also we are challenging most of the brand owners to really look on their packaging material. Are you generating something that can be utilized from the environment? Because the other thing is that I can do a very beautiful packaging for my material, but once it's used, that packaging cannot be recycled. So it creates a challenge in the ecosystem. So you as a brand owner, what are you bringing to the table? Are you reviewing? So as KEPRO, we are assisting the brand owners to look at their packaging and tell you, if you package your product with this material, you will be 100% supporting the circularity in the ecosystem. What does it mean to you as a, as a brand owner, as a manufacturer? Potentially, it might be less on the amount of money you are using on it. So for you, it is a welcome economic benefit from the product. In terms of the cost you're putting in. It's also going to be a win-win for the collector, a win-win for the recycler. So we are looking at all those three players keenly to see how do we pull out, divert more waste, recyclable from the environment, bringing it back to the economy.
All right. Stephen, what is your call to action? And that's your last question this morning and your parting shot, your call to action.
My call to action is my waste, my responsibility. That's my call to action. My waste, my responsibility. That is my take home as well this morning. Thank you so much, Chairperson KEPRO Board, for making time. Stephen Mwili. KEPRO once again is the Kenya Extended Producer Responsibility Organization, speaking to us and helping us make sense of Global Recycling Day and how we are doing as a country as regards recycling. This year's theme, once again, don't think waste, think opportunity. Stephen says, innovate, make a name for yourself when you're talking about recycling. And that brings us to the end of this conversation. My name is Anne Odida. Good morning. Enjoy the rest of your viewing.